AO 5.34 hours, Central Persian Gulf, 62 nautical miles southeast of Karg Island. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group maintained standard patrol formation in international waters, the carrier conducting routine flight operations beneath a cloudless sky. E-2D Hawkeye early warning aircraft orbited at 25,000 feet, scanning approaches with advanced radar systems. Surface search radars swept assigned sectors in methodical patterns. Then the southern radar picture erupted with contacts. 150 small craft departing Iranian coastal waters simultaneously, converging on the strike group at high speed. The Combat Information Center aboard the guided missile cruiser USS Lake Champlain detected the swarm first. Initial count, 147 distinct surface contacts at bearing 178 degrees, range 34 nautical miles, speed 42 knots. Within 90 seconds, the count increased to 150 as additional vessels joined the formation. Identification was immediate. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy fast attack craft, a mixture of 23-foot Boghammer speedboats and 49-foot PACAP class vessels, each carrying 50 caliber machine guns, RPG-7 launchers, and crew-served weapons. The threat assessment was unambiguous. This was not harassment. This was coordinated swarm attack doctrine designed to overwhelm American defensive systems through saturation tactics and suicide boat penetration. The Abraham Lincoln carried 5,400 personnel. The cruiser Lake Champlain and destroyers USS Spruance, USS Preble, and USS Sterett formed defensive perimeter. The battle space was set, range to carrier 34 nautical miles. Closure rate 42 knots, time to defensive envelope 28 minutes. At 0537 hours, Strike Group Commander issued weapons-free authorization across all platforms. Rules of engagement were explicit. Any craft approaching within 2,000 yards of American vessels constituted hostile intent. Lethal force was authorized. The E-2D Hawkeye transmitted targeting data to strike aircraft on standby. 4 FA-18E Super Hornets launched from the Lincoln's catapults in emergency scramble, each aircraft armed with AGM-65E Maverick missiles and 20mm cannon ammunition. 2 additional Super Hornets already airborne on combat air patrol diverted to intercept vectors. The jets formed hunter-killer pairs, climbing to 8,000 feet for optimal attack profiles. At 0539 hours, the Iranian craft crossed into weapons engagement zone at 31 nautical miles. The swarm maintained loose formation. Individual boats spaced 200 to 400 yards apart to complicate targeting solutions. American commanders recognized the tactic. Dispersion forced defenders to engage dozens of individual targets rather than clustered formations of one. The Lake Champlain achieved firing solution first. Forward mark, 5-inch gun turret rotated toward the approaching swarm. Fire control radar locked the nearest cluster of 8 boats. The gun commenced firing.
Sir,
around every 2 seconds, each 70-pound projectile capable of obliterating small craft with single hits. At 0539 hours, the first Iranian boats exploded. The 5-inch round struck with devastating precision. 3 Boghammers disintegrated in fireballs, their fuel tanks erupting in orange explosions. Debris rained across the Gulf surface. 147 boats continued inbound, now at 28 nautical miles, descending in a crescent attack formation designed to strike the carrier group from multiple axes simultaneously. Spruance and Preble added their 5-inch guns to the barrage. That's 9 guns firing in a coordinated sequence, 18 rounds per minute. The mathematical calculus was brutal. 150 targets required 150 direct hits. At current engagement rate, complete elimination would require 8 minutes. The boats would reach missile range in 6. At 0543 hours, the Super Hornets commenced attack runs. Lead flight selected targets on the swarm's eastern flank, 12 boats running parallel courses at 41 knots. Maverick missiles launched from 6 miles range. The laser-guided weapons tracked their targets with terminal precision. Impact. 4 boats vaporized simultaneously. The Maverick's 300-pound warheads detonating with catastrophic effect. Secondary explosions suggested the boats carried additional munitions. Suicide craft packed with explosives intended for ramming attacks. The second flight of Super Hornets engaged the western formation. 6 more Mavericks away, 6 more impacts. The boats exploded in sequential detonations, shockwaves rippling across water surface. At 0545 hours, the engagement entered critical phase. The swarm had been reduced to 131 craft through combined gun and missile fire, but the survivors crossed 22 nautical miles, close enough to launch anti-ship missiles if equipped. The Lake Champlain's ANSPY-1D radar detected surface-launched missiles, 8 Nasr-1 anti-ship cruise missiles departing from modified PACAP boats. Range, 21 nautical miles. Speed, Mach 0.8. Time to impact, 90 seconds. The cruiser's Aegis combat system transitioned to anti-missile defense. 8 RIM-162 evolved Sea Sparrow missiles erupted from vertical launch cells. The interceptors accelerated toward incoming threats, active radar seekers acquiring targets at 12 nautical miles. At 05:46 hours, the first intercepts registered. 6 Nasr-1 missiles exploded in midair as Sea Sparrows detonated proximity fuses within lethal radius. 2 cruise missiles penetrated the first defensive layer, continuing toward the carrier at wavetop altitude. The Preble engaged with SM-2 Standard missiles. Impact at 8 nautical miles. Both threats eliminated, but the Iranian boats continued advancing, now at 19 nautical miles, splitting into 3 prongs targeting the carrier from bow, port, and starboard approaches. The tactical action officer aboard the Lincoln calculated the revised threat: 131 boats, multiple approach vectors, closure speed 40 knots, time to close in weapon system range 11 minutes. At 05:48 hours, additional air assets entered the battle. 2 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters launched from the amphibious assault ship USS Makin Island operating 40 miles west, racing toward the engagement zone at 180 knots. Each helicopter carried 8 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles and 20mm cannon systems. Simultaneously, 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters repositioned from anti-submarine patrol to anti-surface warfare. The rotary wing aircraft established firing positions on the swarm's flanks, creating crossfire zones. Hellfire launches commenced. The laser-guided missiles covered 5 miles in 11 seconds. 12 boats exploded in the first salvo. At 05:50 hours, the Iranian formation reached 15 nautical miles, the distance at which swarm tactics became exponentially dangerous. The boats accelerated to maximum speed, 44 knots. Evasive maneuvers commenced, individual craft zigzagging in random patterns to complicate targeting solutions. Discipline formation dissolved into chaotic mass charge. American gun systems maintained fire discipline, engaging nearest threats first. The Sturet's 5-inch gun destroyed 9 boats and 2 missiles. The Screens accounted for 11 kills, but 99 boats remained, charging through the debris field of their destroyed comrades. At 05:52 hours, the Super Hornets transitioned to cannon attacks. Maverick stocks depleted, the jets descended to 1,200 feet for strafing runs. The M61A2 Vulcan cannons roared to over 6,000 rounds per minute of 20mm high-explosive incendiary ammunition. The first pass obliterated 7 boats, tracers stitching lines across water surface before impacting targets. Fuel explosions created pillars of flame. The second pass destroyed 6 more, but ammunition conservation became critical. Each Super Hornet carried 578 rounds, enough for 5.7 seconds of sustained fire. The pilots selected targets carefully, firing 1-second bursts that expended 100 rounds per engagement. At 05:54 hours, the swarm reached 10 nautical miles. The Phalanx CIWS systems aboard all 5 American warships activated automatically. The radar-guided Gatling cannons rotated toward surface threats, 20mm barrels spinning to engagement speed. Phalanx doctrine prioritized closest threats, boats within 3,000 yards. Current range exceeded autonomous engagement parameters, but manual override authorized earlier activation. The forward Phalanx mount aboard the Lake Champlain opened fire at 9,200 yards. A stream of depleted uranium penetrators created visible arc toward target cluster. 3 boats shredded instantly, hulls disintegrating under hypervelocity impact. The sky and sea erupted in coordinated violence. Super Hornets screamed overhead in attack runs. Helicopters orbited at medium altitude, firing Hellfires and ripple salvos. Destroyer 5-inch guns thundered in continuous barrage. Phalanx systems shrieked with mechanical fury. The Iranian boats maneuvered through the gauntlet, some craft exploding from direct hits, others capsizing from near-miss shockwaves, still others burning from incendiary impacts. The Persian Gulf transformed into killing field. 73 boats destroyed, 86 boats destroyed, 94 boats destroyed. The count climbed with each passing second. At 05:56 hours, the lead elements reached 6 nautical miles. 27 boats remained operational, their crews committed to suicide mission despite catastrophic losses. The Abraham Lincoln's defensive systems prioritized threats by bearing and speed. The Phalanx mounts engaged continuously, barrels glowing red from sustained fire. The portside mount destroyed 4 boats at 4,800 yards. The starboard mount eliminated 3 more at 5,100 yards. The forward mount tracked targets disappearing behind debris fields, engaging glimpses of intact hulls through smoke and flame. At 05:58 hours, helicopter gunships delivered the decisive blows. The AH-1Z Vipers positioned themselves between the remaining Iranian boats and the carrier, creating aerial blockade. Hellfire missiles launched in terminal salvos. 8 impacts, 9 impacts, 11 impacts. The boats exploded in rapid sequence, each detonation triggering sympathetic explosions from neighboring craft. The final 6 boats, driven by crews beyond reason or survival instinct, continued accelerating toward the strike group. They closed to 3 nautical miles before concentrated fire from 3 destroyers obliterated them simultaneously. The last boat disintegrated 2.8 nautical miles from the Lincoln's port beam, its burning wreckage sinking within 40 seconds. 17 minutes after initial contact, silence. The tactical display showed 0 hostile contacts. 150 Iranian fast attack craft launched. 150 Iranian fast attack craft destroyed. The strike group sustained 0 damage, 0 casualties, 0 vessels hit by enemy fire or suicide boats. Ammunition expenditure was significant. 847 rounds of 5-inch ammunition, 24 evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, 4 standard missiles, 38 Maverick missiles, 64 Hellfire missiles, 4,200 rounds of 20mm Vulcan cannon ammunition, and 8,900 rounds of Phalanx 20mm ammunition. The Super Hornets returned to the carrier for refueling and rearmament. The helicopters resumed patrol stations. Damage control parties conducted precautionary sweeps. No battle damage identified. The immediate aftermath involved search and rescue protocols. International maritime law required assistance to personnel in distress. MH-60S Seahawk helicopters equipped with rescue swarms deployed to locate survivors among the debris field. Iranian casualties were catastrophic. Initial estimates suggested 450 to 600 Revolutionary Guard personnel killed, based on standard crew complements of 3 to 4 personnel per craft.
Sir,
the helicopters recovered 23 survivors from the water, many suffering severe burns and blast injuries. Medical personnel of the strike group provided treatment according to Geneva Convention obligations. The survivors would be transferred to neutral parties through international Red Cross coordination. The tactical lessons were immediate and unforgiving. Iranian storm doctrine, theoretically viable against isolated vessels or merchant shipping, collapsed against integrated carrier strike group defenses. The layered defensive architecture, carrier aircraft providing long-range intercepts, destroyer gun systems engaging medium-range threats, and Phalanx systems creating point defense barriers proved devastatingly effective. The boats never penetrated within 2.8 nautical miles of the carrier. Not a single suicide craft achieved ramming distance. The cost exchange ratio was apocalyptic. Iran sacrificed 150 boats and 600 personnel to achieve 0 American casualties and 0 mission kills. Strategic ramifications cascaded through regional military establishments. Iranian Revolutionary Guard leadership faced internal criticism for ordering an attack that resulted in complete tactical failure and massive personnel losses. The swarm tactic, central to Iranian anti-access strategy, had been tested under optimal conditions, surprise mass launch against known American positions, and failed comprehensively. Future operations would confront demoralized crews aware that swarm attacks guaranteed death without corresponding damage to American forces. The psychological impact was strategic. Iranian asymmetric warfare doctrine relied on perceived vulnerability of American capital ships to small boat attacks.
Sir,
that perception died in the Persian Gulf alongside 600 Revolutionary Guard sailors. This engagement fundamentally reshaped regional deterrence calculations. Gulf Cooperation Council states observed American willingness and capability to destroy attacking forces without hesitation or restraint. The message was explicit. Attacks on American naval assets would be met with overwhelming lethal response regardless of numerical odds. Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates defense planners noted the effectiveness of integrated air-sea defensive systems, accelerating procurement of similar capabilities. Israeli naval forces studied the engagement for lessons applicable to potential Hezbollah swarm attacks in Mediterranean scenarios. The engagement also exposed Iranian military decision-making dysfunction. Intelligence assessments suggested the attack was authorized by mid-level Revolutionary Guard commanders without full coordination with Iranian conventional military leadership. The decision reflected factional tensions within Iranian security apparatus. Hardliners seeking to demonstrate resolve through military action, regardless of tactical wisdom. The catastrophic outcome strengthened moderates arguing for restraint and weakened hardliners advocating confrontation. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei faced pressure to discipline commanders whose reckless orders resulted in Iran's worst single-day naval losses since the Iran-Iraq War. American doctrine absorbed operational refinements. The engagement validated investments in integrated air defense systems, networked sensor architectures, and multi-domain coordination. But ammunition expenditure rates concerned logisticians. The strike group consumed significant stockpiles, eliminating 150 boats. Extrapolation to larger swarms, 500 or 1,000 craft, raised questions about sustained engagement capacity. The Navy initiated reviews of ammunition loadouts, considering increased Phalanx magazine capacity and enhanced close-in weapon system coverage. The engagement proved defensive systems worked, but also revealed potential vulnerabilities to even larger saturation attacks. Regional perceptions shifted decisively. Iranian anti-access strategies relied on imposing costs through asymmetric attacks that made American presence unsustainable. The engagement inverted the calculus. Iran suffered unsustainable losses while American forces operated with impunity. Commercial shipping insurance rates in the Persian Gulf stabilized as markets internalized American defensive capabilities. International oil prices declined as the economic implications were strategic. Iran's ability to threaten energy markets through military action was exposed as theater rather than genuine capability. The engagement established precedent for graduated response doctrine in confined waters. American forces demonstrated capacity to eliminate threats while escalating to strikes against Iranian coastal infrastructure. The restraint was calculated: destroy the attack, protect the force, but avoid widening conflict. Iranian facilities that launched the boats remained untargeted. The message was precise. Attacks on American vessels would be defeated in place, but the United States would not automatically expand combat to Iranian territory. The approach provided escalation control while ensuring tactical dominance. 17 minutes after the first boat appeared on radar, 150 boats rested on the Gulf floor. 600 Iranian sailors dead. 0 American casualties. 0 boats penetrated defensive perimeter. The Persian Gulf remains an American sea, not through diplomatic concession, but through the demonstrated capability to detect any threat, engage every target, and eliminate all hostiles before they close weapon range. Iran tested the hypothesis that numbers could overwhelm technology. The hypothesis failed, and the carrier strike group sails on, undamaged and unchallenged, a floating fortress that 150 boats could not scratch.